Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Northern Kentucky Spotlight Podcast presented by CVG. I'm your host, Sarah Brookbank. Today on the podcast, we are joined by Ben Green of TrailPath Workplace Solutions. He highlights how their Next Path program can help create meaningful workplace environments for all employees. We are also joined by the team at Delta Defense. They share how you can add membership to the U.S. Concealed Carry Association to your employee benefits package. Thank you to our podcast sponsors, CVG, our title sponsor, C-Crew Consulting, our digital sponsor, and our episode sponsor, Schneller & Ackelman. Join us for the last Eggs and Issues of the year. Eggs and Issues on the Move, a look at regional transportation developments, is happening on Tuesday, December 3rd. Our expert panelists will provide updates on key infrastructure projects, including the Brent Spence Bridge, Route 8, the 4th Street Bridge, and the ongoing repairs happening on the Daniel Beard Bridge. You can learn more and register to join us on December 3rd at nkychamber.com/events. Now, let's go hear more from our sponsors, meet our members of the week, and I'll be back with this week's guests.
Why would you travel to England?
For football.
To go or not to go?
That is an easy question.
To visit the land of Shakespeare.
To take in all the sights.
Authentic fish and chips.
To experience arts and culture.
2 words, British Open.
To visit my family.
Same reason I go anywhere. For a pint of beer. To start my trip through Europe.
Whatever your reason, there's no better time than now.
Congratulations to our members of the week. You can learn more about these businesses by following the Northern Kentucky Chamber on social media, where we will highlight one of these businesses each day. Now, let's meet our members of the week. Dayton Freight Lines is a high-performance LTL regional carrier that businesses depend on every day. Beckman Coulter Diagnostics has challenged convention to elevate the diagnostic laboratory's role in improving patient health for more than 80 years. At Board and Brush Creative Studio, their goal is to turn you into a DIY master by educating you to understand and appreciate the beauty of raw materials. Everspark is a boutique consultancy firm helping HR leaders and COOs maximize the strategic value of HR while also driving operational excellence. Hi, everyone. Today on the podcast, I am joined by Ben Green, the COO of TrailPath Workplace Solutions. Ben, welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Yes, it is exciting to have you on. You guys are working with a lot of different organizations, doing frontline working, making people reinvest in their workplaces, and solving what you guys call the workplace crisis.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's a blast.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot. So tell us a little bit about what you guys do in this workplace crisis that you guys are talking about.
So, first thing is businesses you're there for a solution, right? And the problem that we're coming at is that there is this crisis in the workplace. So we have shifting demographics. So the retirement cliff's coming. We're reading all about it. We're seeing attitudinal behaviors change as we've got 4 generations in the workforce, and people want to be treated like the unique people that they are, but they still want to work. And so how do we blend this all together to create a stable workforce where work is getting done, but people are also thriving? So that's the problem and that we're trying to help companies and organizations solve.
Yeah, and you guys are a fairly new company. You guys started this year. You said you guys
January.
And that's great that you guys are jumping right in.
Yep.
Working with clients already. So tell us what you're seeing and how these things that are going on in our workplaces, how are they impacting leaders and organizations?
Yeah, so just with this crisis going on and we're seeing the changing of workers, turnover is at an all-time high, which is creating just instability within all these organizations, especially in organizations that have frontline workers. So because at the end of the day, they're all competing over dollars and cents. So if you're not providing meaningful work and treating people with dignity, they can just go across the street if they don't want to work tomorrow and do the same job, and they'll do it again the next day, because at the end of the day, people want to have some control over their lives and have a nice, unique path to help them grow, which is yours and mine would be very different potentially, which is awesome. But organizations just aren't providing that unique path for every team member today. And so because of that, organizations have this instability because people can leave and they're all fighting over nickels and pennies. So
yeah, and you guys, when you're doing this, you guys have created a software. It's called Next Path.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about that and how it works.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So Next Path, so taking it back just a half step, is organizations are having this problem, but they want to do the right thing. So we have this belief that there's this workforce crisis, it's a problem. There's organizations that want to do the right thing, and people want to work. Like, we know that there's exceptions to the rule in all those situations, but in general, starting off with those beliefs. So with that, what we did is we created a modern technology that is about creating dignity for team members and meaningful work. So NextPath is a learning and participation software platform that has many elements of an LMS that team members would go and train. However, we know team members need to be on the floor working, as companies make money when they, produce product and widgets. So it's micro learning around what is a meaningful employment environment. And those are 4 operating principles of establishing trust in the workplace. It's meeting fundamental needs, so understanding safety and your financial needs. And then it gets into meaningful work, which is about the work environment. So everyone talks about culture. Culture is great, and you have to have a good culture, but it's a subset of what's in the environment. After the company picnic, you have to go back and move product and do work. And if the work is riddled with obstacles, then it's not any fun. And the company picnic isn't going to keep you there any longer. So the family dynamic only helps for so long. So how do we take the culture and elevate it to the environment? And then how do we give people ownership to the work? Let them take ownership, because they are doing it every day. They have ways of understanding how it could be better. So the software brings the micro learning and then how to participate to build your own path as an individual to develop yourself. It identifies where there's obstacles, so leaders can help now see where they can help remove those obstacles. And then it gives visibility to the organization so they can make organizational decisions to help their team members thrive.
Yeah, that sounds like such a powerful and meaningful tool. Especially, you mentioned that turnover, especially in our region. We have so many different logistics and manufacturing plants where, there's a lot of people that need to be employed to keep this workforce moving, keep these companies moving. But if they're not invested in the work and they're doing hard work, a pizza party can't solve everything.
Absolutely. And again, we're not taking away from culture is an important part of all that, but there is real dollars and cents every time a team member leaves an organization. At the frontline level in this area, it's $7,000 to $10,000 every time an experienced team member leaves the organization. So there's absolutely just business impacts to organizations every time a team member leaves.
Yeah. And when you talk about the types of clients that you guys are looking for and the types of organizations that you guys think this program will really, really work for, what types of organizations are those?
No, a really good question. So we believe creating a meaningful employment environment works for any organization that has people. However, the frontline workforce has been treated the same way for years and years. And we thought that needed a more modern approach, because at the end of the day, we can't offer hybrid solutions on a manufacturing line today. So what can we do to help provide that? So anybody that has frontline workers, so we're dealing a lot with nonprofits, manufacturing, logistics, healthcare, banks, financial institutions. There's a teller every time you walk in. So anybody that has frontline workers is really where we're kind of narrowing in.
Yeah. So that's a lot of people.
Yep, a lot of people.
A lot of our chamber member organizations.
Yep.
So when you're thinking about how businesses can get started and reach out to you and see if this is maybe something that will work for them, what do they need to know?
Yeah. So first and foremost is do you have a turnover problem? And do you have a team member retention and growth problem? That's where we're here to help. We're about helping develop people and building that plan for each, or path for each team member. You can edit that part. But building a path for each team member. And so if you're struggling with that, or you're struggling with leadership behaviors where we have really good leaders in some areas and developing leaders in other parts, or we don't even know if we have the right ones, that's where our technology helps support that. So what we'll do is we start with organizations with just creating a plan, and you may already have that. So this isn't supposed to be a new initiative. It's how to enhance things you're already doing. So if you already have a culture or a pulse survey, we'll take that and tie it to the factors of a meaningful employment environment. And then we'll build a roadmap for you to implement. And from that, it's a very easy flip on a switch and help team members learn and develop their plans from there. So it's a platform, software, app-based, the way kind of modern technology is rolling.
Yeah, you mentioned meaningful employment environments.
Yep.
I marked that down before our conversation started because I think it's a really interesting phrase.
Yep.
You said there are factors that play into that. What are some of those that provide that meaningful environment?
So at a hierarchy, right? So a meaningful employment environment is built off dignity and meaningful work. The operating principles would be trust has been established within the organization. Because at the end of the day, a team member is not going to stay if they don't trust you.
Right.
The second part is their fundamental needs. So the factors of fundamental needs are pay. So pay is a thing. It's not the only thing. Safety, which organizations in the 90s and early 2000s all spent a ton of effort on safety, and we're seeing the results of that today. So we know if the people put effort into this, it'll work.
Right.
Then the environment. So autonomy and scale, fairness and equity. Do people feel like they have some control over their lives, knowing that we do have to show up at shifts, but are point systems, only punitive, or are we having mutual prosperity? And then ownership in the work. Do we have some autonomy in how we do that work and take ownership for it? And do we have a path to grow out of that work? So those are the factors that we've described, and we measure team members and organizations to those factors as to create a baseline. So as we're implementing, as the software is turned on, it'll help identify that for leaders and organizations so they can make decisions based on that.
Yeah, that sounds so valuable. Just hearing those words and those things, those keys that you are looking for as someone who has changed career paths and worked in different environments. Those are the things that you're thinking about, even though they might not be at the very forefront of your mind. But when you're thinking about a workplace and longevity at your business that you're working at, you're like, oh yeah, I do a path forward, dignity, a pay that makes sense and will have me keep my family moving on and moving forward. So
absolutely,
it's really cool that you guys are doing a lot of this. And Ben, it's been great to talk with you about your organization. Is there anything else that you think our members need to know about you all that I haven't already asked?
Yeah, well, first off, we love that we're in this area because, to your point, frontline workforce in the Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area. So just a happy coincidence for us because we've been able to gather so much information and data from all the team members that we're out meeting. And then the chamber is obviously great at connecting us for that. But then from what we need to know is we're not trying to be one new strategy initiative for everybody. We're trying to say that everyone already has leadership strategy and people strategy. Here's just a way to help enhance that. So we're not trying to convince the unconvinced by any means. So if you are doing something great to help team members, we're happy for that. But if you do have issues or problems with turnover, we want to see if we can help. So that's what we're here for.
All right. Well, that has been so great to talk with you, Ben. And before I let you go, for people that want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to contact you?
Absolutely. So email is perfect. So ben@trailpathws.com or my phone number is 859-652-2751. So absolutely reach out or check out our website.
All right, Ben. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Ranking on Google Search and Maps is easy to understand, but hard to do. It requires constant effort and attention, uploading new photos, responding to Google reviews, writing weekly posts, and checking suggested updates. Google listing optimization takes experience and time, and there are no shortcuts. C-Crew gives your Google My Business account the steady, consistent attention it needs to be effective, optimizing, updating, and expanding critical content every single week. From local retail stores to large regional networks, C-Crew generates content, establishes benchmarks, and creates dramatic, measurable increases in engagement. So what can C-Crew do for your business? More calls, more clicks, more clients.
Chris Knockelman with Schneller Knockelman Plumbing, Heating, and Air. It's spring now, but before you know it, our ACs are working overtime.
Dave, it's going to be warm soon.
Right now is a good time to get the AC serviced, right?
You can get your AC tuned up for only $59.
So get your $59 tune-up at
SKPHA.com. SKPHA. So if your plumbing and mechanical systems give you trouble, just remember our name. Schneller Knockelman.
Hi, everyone. Today on the podcast, I am joined by Jill Grutzmacher and Caleb Hensley of Delta Defense. Welcome to the podcast, guys.
Thank you so much
for having us.
It is great to have you on. We're going to talk a little bit about how Delta Defense can be a benefit for employees and how you guys can work with employers. So jump right in. Tell us a little bit about your organization.
Okay, so Delta Defense is the service provider to the United States Concealed Carry Association. That's a bit of a mouthful, so we call it the USCCA.
Right.
The USCCA has been around for 21 years. We have been selling our membership direct to consumer up until now. So we launched this new distribution channel in January. We've had a lot of our members, close to 1 million across the country, ask us, hey, we're our business owners. We want to offer this as a benefit to our employees or a discount. Can we do that? So over the years, we've built the infrastructure, and we know that the voluntary employee benefit space is huge right now.
Right.
People are looking to recruit and retain their employees. And so we are super excited to introduce this to the community and really, help the businesses grow.
Absolutely. A portion of that is going to include on-site training for these companies. So as a voluntary employee benefit, myself as an account executive would come out and do an on-site training. And ultimately the goal is a culture of preparedness and safety. If you have employees who feel prepared and they feel educated and trained, then you ultimately are creating a safer environment, not just for the workplace, but also for their home lives out in public when they're traveling. And so that's what we specialize in.
Right. You said before we started filming, you talked about building a culture of safety,
Right.
which I think is really interesting. Tell us a little bit about how you guys are working with members and employees to kind of do that.
Yeah, so typically the Protector Academy is an online learning system that you get access to through the USCCA. And that's going to give you the ability to train and educate at your own convenience whenever you might want to. And the reality is, like we talk about this, that concealed carry is in the name. However, self-defense is very broad, right? And having the tools to be situationally aware of your surroundings, to understand what pre-threat indicators might be, so that hopefully you could avoid or escape the situation before it would ever occur, right? And oftentimes in the classes that we teach, something we say is that you are never going to be able to choose when you may be involved in an incident where you'd have to defend yourself, whether that be at work, in public, on vacation, at your home. The only thing we can control is the education and training we have prior to that event ever occurring.
Right. And is there something you'd like to add?
I was just going to give an example. So we have a company up in Dayton, a cybersecurity company, going to offer this as a voluntary benefit, and they are introducing it during the open enrollment this December. Caleb will come in and teach. They'll have their employees come in from around the country, and Caleb will come in and teach our curriculum, how to identify a public threat, and then we'll introduce the new voluntary employee benefit. And we'll set up a cadence of other courses every other month, home defense plan, situational awareness and de-escalation.
Non-lethal tools for self-defense.
Non-lethal tools for self-defense is a new one and a big one. So we're constantly and this is complementary, right? So these courses, the USCCA is a certified education and training institution. So these businesses now get access to this wonderful curriculum. So we're really excited.
Yeah, that is really great. And there are other benefits of this program. So tell us a little bit about, so if an employer is like, hey, I do want to offer this as a voluntary benefit for my employees, what all are they getting within that?
There's a couple things. The USCCA membership, it's a holistic approach to self-defense. We want to make sure that you have the mental and the physical preparation, the skills, so that if you're involved in an incident, that you feel prepared. You're not paranoid or afraid. You have the tools and the knowledge of what to do in this incident, right? But then there's a very real reality of the aftermath of a self-defense incident where there is a potential for you to be arrested and charged with a crime. There's the potential for you to be sued in civil court. And this isn't just with a firearm. This is with any tool, any use of force against another person. You automatically are going to open yourself up to that potential for liability, whether that's in criminal or civil court.
And it's a sad truth that in society, even innocent people protecting themselves and their families, even in home invasions, are the ones who get sued and have to go to court. And most people don't plan for this financially. They don't have criminal defense attorneys on call. With the membership, you get access to our critical response team. We teach you to call 911 first, to call our critical response team second. We tell you what to say to 911, what to say to the police. The laws of self-defense are really important for people to understand. We have 16 approved criminal defense attorneys in Kentucky and 34 in Ohio right now. So in that Protector Academy that Caleb just referenced, you can pre-select your criminal defense attorney, and our team will go contact them for you once you call them. The other important thing to note is that the USCCA is the insured on the policy. So as a member, the second you sign up, you are added as an additional insured on the policy. There's no paperwork. There's nothing to do, which is important for our insurance brokers to understand too. So we're partnering with, we have a national partnership now with USI. We're partnering with these employee benefits property casualty brokers to really bring it to their clients, but there's no paperwork or claims that they have to deal with.
You're just auto enrolled in this program.
Yeah.
And one of the things I want to ask, especially for our employers listening, because we have a lot of employers in Northern Kentucky that listen to the podcast, what do you think they need to know about this? Bottom line, how is this a benefit for them and for their employees?
Well, I just think it like Caleb said, it creates a culture of safety. It really helps with retention and recruitment. We see in some of the industries like manufacturing, they're not able to compete with larger companies that come in terms of pay. So when you're offering a really robust voluntary or employee benefits package, and you have these voluntary offerings that let your employees know you care about them and their families, I think it just creates a culture of safety, and it's a place where people really want to be because they feel important.
Mm-hmm.
Another element of that is there is a reality that people do have to defend themselves, right? And we look at our target is anyone. It's anyone who would want this, because from real estate agents to electricians, they're out in the field dealing with situations, walking to and from a parking lot, nurses leaving late at night, early in the morning. So we want to give people the tools so that they don't feel fear or paranoia. They feel prepared, and that if an incident were to occur, they would know exactly what to do because of their USCCA membership.
Right. Teachers, healthcare workers, where there's a lot of workplace violence.
Right.
Really anyone. People say like, well, what industry are you targeting? And, the people in, manufacturing, construction, mining, they are all, a lot of our members come from those industries, but really when you understand this as a comprehensive self-defense plan, it's for everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so for people who are listening to this and they're interested in learning more, how can people get in touch with you guys to learn more, and how they can get this process started if they're interested in bringing this in the workplace?
Absolutely.
Well, Caleb and I are local to this area. I live in Fort Thomas. He lives in Kentucky. So we are available. You can find our information probably on your website. You can connect with us anywhere on LinkedIn or via email. But we're very accessible around here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so for the process, pretty simple. Get in touch with you guys and you'll get that kicked off. Jill, Caleb, it has been so great to have you guys on talking about Delta Defense. Before I let you go today, is there anything else you think our members need to know about you all?
Yeah, we're just really excited about this opportunity that has a huge potential to create that safety environment for employees and employers that want to offer additional training, so that the people that they care about, the people they've employed, have the ability to train and educate, and then have an incredible plan in the aftermath if an incident were ever to occur.
Right. Jill, anything else?
I mean, I echo what Caleb said. We're just very excited to get this introduced to Kentucky and Cincinnati area. We live here. We have a vested interest in keeping our community safe, and it really starts on the ground with the people being prepared.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys both so much for coming on the podcast today. It was really great to have you on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Housing is a regional priority. Having an ample supply of homes is fundamental for the Northern Kentucky region to meet basic economic needs and enable regional growth. Learn more about income-aligned housing, the region's housing needs, and why it is essential to ensure Northern Kentucky continues to be a great place to live, work, play, learn, and give back at bit.ly/NKY Housing Study.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about TrailPath Workplace Solutions and Delta Defense on today's episode of the podcast. Thank you once again to our podcast sponsors, CVG, Sea Crew Consulting, and Schneller & Ackerman. As we head into the holiday shopping season, we at the Northern Kentucky Chamber remind you to shop small and support local businesses this season. Small businesses aren't just the heart of our communities, they also fuel the local economy. In fact, small businesses generate 44% of U.S. economic activity. Supporting local businesses means supporting jobs for our neighbors, our friends, and our family. You can visit our Facebook page to see how you can support local small businesses this season, or visit our business directory at nkychamber.com to search for small businesses near you. Finally, if you're a member who would like to be featured on the podcast, or if you're someone who is interested in joining the Northern Kentucky Chamber, please reach out to Lynn Ablin. And if you're someone who is interested in sharing your workforce strategies and resources on our Talent Strategy Spotlight, please reach out to Nancy Spivey. You can find their contact information on the screen in front of you or at our staff directory at nkychamber.com. Now I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and I hope you have a happy, safe, and healthy Thanksgiving.